Hi guys, hope you're doing well today. This is Fred and Sheila with Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures and Fred and Sheila Investigates. And today we're talking about an update on the Doug Harless case. Um, for it's been almost a year now.
Yeah,
December 23rd will
yeah,
make a year
yeah.
since he was shot and killed in his own home. Where the police had went to the wrong address. So let's see what they've got to say about it.
Ready?
Do you have anything,
No,
Fred? Sorry.
no, good. You covered it.
There's been some movement in the London officer-involved shooting that killed Doug Harless nearly a year ago. Just days before Christmas 2024, state police say Harless was shot and killed inside his home as London officers moved in to serve a search warrant. That warrant was tied to a stolen lawn equipment belonging to the county judge executive. The court records and dispatch audio raise a big question. Were officers at the wrong address? The shooting happened at 511 Van Zant Road, yet multiple records from that night list 489 as the target location. KSP says its investigation is complete, but the case is still open. It's now with prosecutors to determine if any laws were broken.
So
Wow.
everything takes time. No timeline on this, but as I said, I think the last time I spoke, it's in the final stages, and we're getting closer to the final. The outcome.
Commonwealth's attorney Jackie Steele requested a special prosecutor, and Matthew Leveridge has been assigned. He says the case is still ongoing and no decision has been made on whether to file charges.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Well, guys, thank the Lord, it's finally coming to another phase of the investigation and of the justice system. That it will now be. The state police have turned it over to the prosecutor, the special prosecutor.
Hmm.
Jackie Steele's stepped aside.
Right. Mr. Leverage has been appointed.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jackie Steele is the London Commonwealth attorney. Y'all may recognize that name. Jackie Steele is also the special prosecutor in the Judge Mullins and Mickey Stein's case up in Letcher County.
Right.
So while he's been appointed as special prosecutor to that case, this other fella has been appointed to the London case in his stead.
Right. Wow.
This case is drug out for a long time. The state police special investigative unit has been investigating it for almost a year now. December the 23rd will be a year.
Yeah.
And of course, there have been all kinds of publicity over it. Sheila and I know we've been to London several times to do a video, a YouTube video on those outside protesting and wanting justice for Doug Harless. Because the story's been from the beginning that they went to the wrong address, and you can see the story. Go back in some of Sheila's videos and you'll see where they holler police and all of a sudden the door's kicked open and you start hearing shots. It was that fast. So maybe the grand jury, they're going to no doubt convene a grand jury and present this case, the evidence, what the state police have come up with in their investigation. Hopefully everything's square and up to par in their investigation.
So how long do you think it would take after that? I mean, is there a grand jury meeting next month that
Well,
they
they'll
can do it
probably
this
call,
month or
they'll
whenever?
probably call a special grand jury to
Okay.
hear just this case. I don't think who knows, Sheila,
Right.
it could go to the regular grand jury that's convened right now. And they may call a special grand jury just to hear this one
Case.
We don't know. The thing about the grand jury and grand jurors, sometimes a prosecutor can get a no true bill as well as they can get an indictment. In a grand jury room, the prosecutor is, I don't want to say he's God, but prosecutor is that's his
Domain.
grand jury. He's the man.
Okay.
And I've served on grand juries. I've been on grand juries, and if a prosecutor says, "Well, here's the case," and I really don't have the evidence here to prosecute anybody. If you all return an indictment, I'm probably not going to be able to. Then more than likely the grand jury's not going to return an indictment. If the prosecutor says, hey, this bologna sandwich jumped up and slapped me in the face, and I'd like to take it on to the next level and charge them with a felony and put them in circuit court, then more than likely you're going to get an indictment back.
Mhm.
The only thing I would advise as a former police officer is that the grand jury listens to all the evidence and that they're not persuaded by
Exactly.
nobody or anything. Come up with their own. It just takes 9 out of 12
Mhm.
to return an indictment if
Mhm.
somebody has done something wrong. And I think if anything's been done wrong here, it's through negligence, recklessness, carelessness. I don't think there's, in my opinion, I'm not there and I don't know the case.
Mhm.
Here, we wasn't even going to talk that long about it, was we? But
No, that's okay because this case is interesting.
I don't think there's no intent that I can see. I think it was just negligence and carelessness and maybe some recklessness, maybe just some bad judgment. But sometimes bad judgment and you put these elements together, that comes up to equal a crime. A crime. It may not have been intentional, but you've still got knowingly and wantonly, and there's still other elements out there that it would pertain to. And here's the key, babe.
Okay, because I'm curious.
Okay, well, the key is that no matter how this case comes back,
Right.
if the grand jury, if they present this case
Mm-hmm.
and the grand jury comes back with a no true bill, on more than likely the shooter. The shooter is what this is going to be about. Who was the person? Who was the one person out of all those 4, 5, or 6 officers that was at that door?
Right.
Each time you watch the video, you get a different count, but there was at least 4 people at that front door. Why did only one officer shoot?
Right.
Why did only one officer perceive a threat? Why didn't the other ones behind him, the secondary and what was he the primary? The one that done the shooting, was he the primary officer that went through the door? Was he in the front? What's going to be terrible is if you've got the guy that kicked the door down and he's in front, but the second officer in line or the third officer in line actually did the shooting.
Exactly.
What if the first or the second officer didn't perceive a threat, but the third officer shot? We don't know. We don't know anything about this. We're talking from the.
So here's a silly
No,
question.
go ahead.
So if they find it
An indictment.
indictment,
Yeah, there's
so
nothing
is it
calls.
against just the one person, or is
Well,
it against the 4 that actually breached the door?
well,
went
that's up
in?
to the grand jury and up to, we don't know. We don't know the rest of the evidence. We don't know what they're going to present. Now, is there some kind of, was the supervisor, was the chief, was the assistant chief, was the detective, were they culpable of anything here? Was there anything that was, if this warrant, if somebody was taken to the wrong address, let's say it's 486
Mm-hmm.
and the warrant said 486, the affidavit said 486, and they went to 511. And look back at this video you just played.
Right.
It's right there on the.
Yeah, on the side of the house,
Yeah.
the house number is because the other one
That's 486.
is down the road, down the road from them.
Yeah, and it's got 486 on it.
Yeah.
Both residents are clearly distinguished by their addresses, on the side of their house or on the front. They walked right by that 511 if they did go to the wrong address. Now,
Mhm.
going back, was the person that wrote the warrant, they got the search warrants, that filed the affidavit, were they negligent? Did they put down
The
the
wrong.
wrong address where they should have been going?
Mhm.
Or ever who was leading the pack that night,
Right.
ever who was leading that pack, did they think they knew where they were going and they actually led everybody to the wrong address and everybody jumped out and
Mhm.
do what you do in a search warrant? You start covering the doors, the entrances, exits. You start surrounding the house, and everybody's. So, the question here, babe, is why wasn't the Laurel County Sheriff's Department
Mhm.
notified? Where was the state
Yes.
police?
Right.
Now, a lot of these agencies, and it's sad, and I see it now. I can see why, because you get educated in life, but these agencies, not everybody gets along with other agencies.
Right.
So maybe they didn't want the state police there. Maybe they didn't want the sheriff's office there. Maybe they were doing it as a favor to the county judge where it
Over a
was
weed eater.
over a weed eater. Maybe they wanted to carry the arrest and the warrant. They wanted to be, they wanted to gain that favoritism, or that they wanted that judge to know that, hey, London PD's here for you.
Mhm.
When you fool with the judge, we are not slow. It's hip, 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 and away we go. There's so many
Haste makes
scenarios.
waste, though.
Yeah.
Haste, when you act in haste, you make mistakes.
Oh yeah.
And this was definitely a mistake made. So when they go to
I
the
agree.
grand jury, they're going to say there's enough proof here to have a trial.
Well, that's what the grand jury, if they return an indictment, the state police will go over their evidence and they'll
Okay.
say, here's what we found.
Okay.
This happened, and once the grand jury hears all the testimony, the trooper will leave, the prosecutor will leave, the grand jury's in there by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's taped and it's transcribed, and
Right.
they will discuss it between themselves. Now, and I'm glad you brought that back up because I got sidetracked earlier, but if they come back with a no true bill and they come back and they say, okay, we're not going to hold nobody responsible. We think this was just a honest mistake.
Right.
We think this was an accident. We think this was a, you know, something anybody could have done.
Yeah.
And they return what's called a no true bill. A no true bill is where the grand jury refuses to indict.
Wow.
So it's over with. The case is done for,
So nothing else will
and
happen.
nothing else will happen. It's done.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if they return an indictment, if
Mhm.
9 of those 12 people, at least 9,
Okay.
feel that a crime has been committed or that it needs to go to the next level.
Okay.
All an indictment is, it just pushes this case up to the next level and
Mhm.
takes it from an investigative scene.
Mhm. Sure.
Sometimes they come up from misdemeanors from district court. A lot of
Right.
times when you go to the grand jury, the person was charged in district court, and then they had a preliminary hearing, and the judge found there's probable cause to send it on up to the grand jury. This case is not, it didn't start in district court. This case is starting completely with the state police and their investigation.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So if they find them probable cause and they say they return a true bill or whatever you call it,
Yeah, sure. An indictment.
an indictment. Okay. So now then that goes to court.
They're charged with a felony. They'll issue
Who is they though?
ever who the grand jury. Did the grand jury feel that the shooter, that the officer was negligent or intentionally or whatever they come up with? Do they charge indict the officer? Do they indict the chief who's in charge? That's his men.
Mhm.
Was he negligent
Mhm.
in putting somebody in charge that wasn't trained or wasn't? Who wrote the warrant? The detective that
Okay.
wrote the warrant or got the addresses mixed up? If
Mhm.
let's say if anything, me and you speculate,
Sure.
me and you give our opinion,
Right.
but if there was somebody that's who would be indicted
Okay.
for, there's so many just official misconduct to anything else. You can indict, even though it's in a grand jury, you can indict it back down to a misdemeanor.
Oh,
They can
sure.
indict the person for official misconduct or conduct unbecoming.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. And it goes back down to district court. They may indict people for 2 or 3 felonies and have a couple misdemeanors on there. It's what the grand jury
Wow.
decides. Now, the thing is, the grand jury is going to be the
Deciding factor.
deciding. Thank you, babe. The deciding factor. The grand jury is going to be left holding the bag. If no indictment is returned, if it's a no true bill,
Right.
and they feel that the evidence wasn't there, a lot of times the grand jurors don't ask enough questions.
Mm.
Grand jurors have the right to question that trooper, that detective that's going to be in there.
Mhm.
They don't have to just take everything he says as the gospel and say, okay, thanks for coming. We'll see you later. If I was on the grand jury, and like I said, I've been on grand juries, and ask questions. You have that right.
I'd want to see the video camera, the porch camera
You
When they
would
first
want
come
to
in.
see everything.
Mhm.
You want to see that search warrant affidavit. You want to, because there's an affidavit that's never been produced yet
Right.
that is part of a search warrant. You have to file an affidavit before you can get the judge to sign the warrant. That's what the judge looks at. He looks at the affidavit
Mhm.
and sees if there's enough cause for
Okay.
him to issue a search warrant. And look at that search warrant affidavit. Does it say 486? Does it say 511? That's the first thing. Did they actually go to the wrong address?
Mhm.
If they did, then they killed an innocent man because they're not
Wow.
even at the right address. Now, did they kill an innocent man who was coming through the house? That it didn't come out for 3 days that Doug Harless had a gun.
Had a
3
weapon,
days
yeah.
later, it come out and said, "Oh yeah, well yeah, he come to the house with a gun." Well, there's no cameras. According to Kentucky law, London PD should have had.
Body cameras.
It's a law. They should have had at least one body camera there. And for a weed eater, the warrant should have not even been served that late at night. So
Yeah.
there's all kinds of things there that's going to come back on the chief, the assistant chief, or the detective, ever who's took charge of that.
Mhm.
And but the grand jury is ultimately going to be either the friend or foe of the people, because the people that feels when the evidence ever comes out,
Mhm.
and a grand jury, that is secret. They meet in secret. There's not a lot that comes out from a grand jury as far as testimony and stuff. So
Mm.
the thing is that police, the state police, the prosecutor, anybody,
Mhm.
when it's all said and done and the public complains, if somebody's not held accountable and the evidence shows that they should have been, the prosecutor and the state police are going to point their finger at the grand jury and say, "Hey, it's not us guys.
It's,
We presented it to a grand jury. It's all on the grand jury."
and this is what they decided.
And this is the grand jury, what they decided. Now, what the grand jury's got to sit there and think about is, if this was a member of your family, what
Yes.
questions would you ask? If
Mm.
this was your uncle, your brother, your dad, your
Yeah.
ever who, what questions would you ask if you had go ahead, if you had an investigator in front of you
Mhm.
and that's investigated this entire case,
Mm.
what's some of the questions you would want to know the answers to?
How'd this happen?
And you start from the
What went
beginning,
wrong? What? Yeah.
start from,
Wow.
and it doesn't matter if it takes a day or 10 days.
Mhm.
They can bring that grand jury back. They don't have to get done in one day. They don't have to rush. The grand jury is in charge. This is their show.
Okay.
They are in charge.
Wow.
If they don't get completed today and they don't ask all the questions they want, don't be rushed just because the prosecutor says, "Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up here." Just, whoa, wait a minute. We're not ready to wrap it up yet. We got some more questions for this fella, and we can come back tomorrow. We can come back next week. We can, and
Wow.
grand jury's got to learn that they're in charge,
Yeah.
not the prosecutor, not the state police.
Huh, that's
That's
interesting.
their grand jury. It's their
Very
show.
Okay.
A lot
Wow.
of people don't understand that. A lot of people and I think a lot of people are now. I think people in general, babe, and you know it as well as I do from seeing some of the videos that I post on my site,
Mhm. Mhm.
whether you want to be controversial or not, but you have
Yeah.
to know that police officers and prosecutors are not as trustworthy
No.
as they once was. I mean,
It's sad.
I don't know who this detective is that's going to be taken to a grand jury. I don't know this prosecutor. They may be two of the most honest people that God ever strung a gut through.
Right.
But just because they're in uniforms, just because they got a badge on, just because they got a law degree, and we've seen that from the Buford Pusser case. We've seen that from what's happened in Tennessee.
Right.
It just doesn't make a person have character. And I'm hoping the grand jury they're going to be serving the people of Laurel County, and they've got a lot of questions there from those people in Laurel County. And all this face does, in order to give the grand jury some leadway and some relaxation, is all the grand jury is going to do. They're not going to define guilt or innocence on nobody. They're not saying this person's guilty or that person's guilty. All they're saying is we're going to indict this person because we think there's more questions that needs to be asked.
Okay.
We think this needs to go to the next level and go to trial. All they do is send that person to circuit court to
Okay.
stand trial
Okay.
before a jury where they can have their lawyer present, they can defend themselves, they due process of law.
Okay, because I thought maybe that's a good point. Because I was thinking maybe if um they would decide whether it's murder,
No.
manslaughter, da 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 da
Well, now they will decide what they want
counts
to
or
charge them with.
okay,
Yeah, they will
yeah,
just decide. But that doesn't mean that that can't be the judge once it goes to circuit court. That doesn't mean the judge might say, well, I think you guys have indicted this person for this, this, and this.
uh-huh,
And I think it more suits this here. That the judge and the lawyers will fight that out in court. But the first thing they got to do is get it moved from just solely appearing. Again, this didn't even originate in district court.
mhm,
This went straight to
straight.
the grand jury.
Wow, yeah,
There's never been any charges. There's never been any on this case. So the grand jury's either going to indict and
mm-hmm,
send it to circuit court where they can, uh, who
start
it is can get them a lawyer
mm-hmm,
and they'll
start
be
the process.
represented and they can tell their side of the story. They can explain what happened and a jury can listen to all the evidence. They'll get to see, and then that's where it will take 12.
Okay,
Not 9 out of the 12, but that's where a jury in circuit court will unanimous decision. It's got to be unanimous. All 12 has to vote for a verdict of guilt in a circuit
oh,
court, a felony
okay,
case. Now, if one of them holds out, if one person's
mhm,
not guilty, then it'd be a mistrial. It's a
okay,
hung jury. Yeah.
mhm.
And
Well,
so you know more than you thought.
yeah, evidently I know a little bit anyway.
Sure.
Not much, but this is more your expertise than mine.
Well, it's when
So
I've got old and forgot a lot, and I may have
it
even
didn't sound like it.
miss threw some stuff out there wrongly, but it's going to be interesting. And thank the Lord, we're
Yeah.
finally glad that it's coming to close
I pray that the family gets justice and Doug
for the
gets
family.
justice.
We hope
Mr. Harless
everything is
gets
done
Doug.
correctly and
Mhm.
right and fairly, and let the chips fall where they may. That's what the justice system, Lady Justice is blind. You don't add to, grand jury testimony and court testimony. All that. It's like the Bible. You don't add to or take nothing away. Go in
Right.
there and tell the truth and show the evidence. Let the chips fall where they may. Be fair with everybody. Don't.
That's right.
What's my favorite saying? I've always said I'd rather let a guilty person go free
Hmm.
than I would ever charge or incarcerate an innocent person, because that's got to be terrible to falsely accuse somebody
Sure.
of something when they're innocent. So
That's right.
investigate, ask questions, and they've investigated it for a year, so they should be up on it. The state police
Yeah,
should have they shouldn't be ever T should be crossed and ever I dotted. They
that's right.
shouldn't be no question that the grand jury asked them that they shouldn't be able to answer after a year.
Right.
And we got a couple of weeks and it's a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. The 23rd. And this is what, the 22nd. So
Yeah.
basically a month.
Month. And
A
they
day.
probably
Mm.
it's probably going to be right there to a day by the time they get the grand jury convened and hear it.
Wow.
It's probably going to be right at a year, or it may even go into next year.
Yeah.
So
Oh, law. I don't know, but I hope justice is served. We do for Mr. Harless and his family.
hey guys,
So,
Sheila's going to get back to her original channel. There's not as many people interested in, I'm sorry to say, in the Buford Pusser case that we've been on as they are in other stories like Sheila used to do, just
Mhm.
general various stories. So some people have told her that when you get back to your regular channel, I'll come back and view your channel more. So we're going to start posting most of the Buford Pusser stuff at Fred McCoy 40. That'll be over on my channel. And then Sheila can go back to things that she enjoys doing and on her channel.
Yeah, and we'll try to keep y'all updated on things like that on both channels.
Sounds good.
So, and we still haven't heard anything on Winter Wagner either. We've had some people ask about that one, so we've not had anything new on her
No,
as well. So,
we have we're still keeping up with it. We're just
right.
not this Winter Wagner deal is very, very complicated. There's
It
it
is.
can go in any of 3, even 4 directions
Mm-hmm.
that Sheila and I have come up with. Nothing, we're not
No.
fortune tellers or genies or real smart people, but
Nope.
it's we're going to leave this one up to the police, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's nope. That's about it.
Very interesting. Yeah. So, but if we get anything new, we'll jump on here and let you know. So,
Pray for winter.
yes.
The
Lord.
longer it goes like that,
I'll get some.
the more apt it is that it's bad news in the end.
Yeah.
It doesn't always mean that,
That's right.
but the fact that she's not been seen to our knowledge, and we talked to some people,
Hmm.
and to this day nobody has had eyes
Or heard.
or ears on Winter.
Hmm.
Some people says, well, this was seen or that was seen. Maybe this account was activated or that account, or um, that could be
Anybody.
that could be anybody. That could be anything. Hopefully it is her,
Yeah. Hope
and
so.
hopefully she's found. The little girl's had a rough life. It looks like. I feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
Or we do.
Yeah. Definitely do. But okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you're doing well. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. God bless.